Hey guys, Jeremy Hood here, changing the alternator on a 2010 Chrysler Town & Country. I've seen a couple of videos of this online on YouTube. This is the alternator, by the way. But what they don't show is how to release that tensioner right where I'm pointing without a special tool. And there are some videos where the guy jacked it up or ran it up on a ramp or whatever, and they're still using a special tool. I was using my channel locks. Probably isn't the best way to do it, but it seems adequate. And if you get down in there, you can see how the tensioner, which is that silver thing right there, that silver thing, that's the tensioner, and you can see how it sticks out from the rest of the pulleys a little bit. So what I was doing was putting my channel lock right there, grabbing a hold of it, and then twisting it. You can't see it moving. Sorry, my big noggin's blocking the light. I had it a second ago. There you go. Well, anyway, it was moving, and it was just enough that I could pop the belt loose. And the belt pops off. If this is the alternator, that's the very top pulley. The one behind it and down, that one right there, that's a smooth pulley, so it slipped off of that one pretty easily. The belt did go under it and around top of it and back over the alternator. Anyway, so if you use your channel locks, pull toward the front of the vehicle and then slip it off that pulley right there first. That seems a good way to take the pulley loose. As far as the rest of the alternator concerned, I took there's an electric wire right here that was connected there with a nut. The nut's up here somewhere. That must be the nut right there. Anyway, that doesn't seem right. Yeah, that's got to be it. No, that doesn't matter. So I think it is that nut, and that nut came loose, then this popped off. Then there's a plug right here, and the plug right there, I slid this red thing back on it, so it was up like it was pushed against the plug. Then I pulled that guy back, and then on the side this guy pushes in. So slide that red thing back, push that thing in, that popped out. Then I got that guy loose. I already talked about that. This thing is just this metal brace goes across here. So I took the bolt out of there. I took this long bolt out of right there. And then now I'm taking this bolt loose from the back of the alternator. Just so you can have some perspective. Here's the new alternator that's about to go in. Got the electric wire, the other bolt, and here's the long bolt that goes through both of those holes, and then there's this bolt, and then that's it. Alright, learn from my mistakes. I left the battery hooked up because I thought, what's the big deal? Then I saw a big giant spark. So take the battery loose, negative first, then the positive. I guess that doesn't need to come off all the way. Alright, the old one's out. I noticed that, let me show you how it looks when it's in the van. This is how it is in the van. So if you look back here, on this side, see that little, it's kind of a nut, but it's also a bolt. It goes through to the other side of this right there. Let me flip it around and show you. And that holds the alternator against whatever that is, the engine block maybe. And when that's loose in there, I suspect the alternator is going to wiggle around. So before you put it in, maybe when you take the old one out, you'll want to loosen that nut right there. And now I'm going to tighten it up a bit. The challenging part there seems to be they've got this this metal piece sticking up. It doesn't stop the bolt from turning around, but it sure makes it hard to get a socket or something on there. So I'm gonna make do with an adjustable wrench, that one right there, see what I can do. All right, got the long bolt in down here, that guy right there. Got the shorter one right there. And turns out this nut over here is just a nut. It's not threaded on the outside like I thought. So it just kind of slid in as I tightened up this bolt. So nothing special. The old one was really hard to take out. Once I had everything out, the alternator would move like this, but I couldn't just pull it out. So I had to just kind of play with it. So I thought that might have been threaded to hold it snugly, but you can see it's plenty snug enough. It's not going to rattle or anything like that. I should say the symptoms I had were, we've had this van since it was brand new, been a number of years, and periodically the battery would just go dead. I never tried jump starting it because it's my wife's car. She drives the kids around, so I just went ahead and swapped out the battery. So I've been doing that every 2 or so years. And the recent battery only lasted about 4 months. So I said, okay, instead of trying to chase down some mysterious power drain that's killing the battery, first off, I got an Optima battery, which is a gel battery. It's about 250 bucks instead of the usual 100 and something. And my cousins had one for about 14 years. It's still working fine for him. So I'm hoping I'll have a similar experience with this one. And I thought while I was at it, I better change the alternator just in case that's the thing that's intermittent. I think I have the wrong socket, of course. So with a new alternator, new battery, hopefully we can keep my wife and kids van running for a while. I'm gonna do this with 2 hands. All right, that's back on. That goes there. I always forget to start videotaping a project that I want to share when I start, because I don't know if I'm going to want to share it. It depends on how it goes. And by halfway through, I figure you guys watch this, try and watch it in reverse to see if you can figure out how it all comes apart. I tightened that while I had the video paused, so don't think that was that quick. All right, I said to use that one to take it off because there's no grooves on it. But to put it back on, I found it easier to use this one. So I popped this one loose, hooked everything else up, slid my hand down there, make sure everything was lined up. And then I did that trick with the channel lock, twisted it toward the front of the van. And then this was the only one loose, so I was holding this with my right hand, right, like this. Holding this part of the belt with my right hand, went in there with my left hand and twisted that down, and then slid this all the way around with my right hand and got it on the right grooves, the right spot. So that's kind of how you do that. It's a bit of a pain. It is doable, not easy. So you can see how I have the channel lock on that silver thing right there. And then I just grabbed it. Anyway, hope you guys understand. Now I'm going to fire it up and see where the pieces fall. When you hook the battery back up, the horn honks for some reason. I think it's part of the security, so don't wet yourself like I did. And that's the belt back on. Smells like new electronics. All right, hope this was helpful to you guys.